Can you all see my presentation? Can you all see my presentation? Is it visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Regarding today's session under the module promoting equality, diversity and inclusion in social and healthcare. So these are our learning objectives. Don't worry about these lengthy learning objectives. Each and everyone describing simple information. So, okay, so today's session altogether, it mainly focusing on the term ethical dilemmas. So ethics, dilemmas, ethical dilemmas, these are the common issues, or we can say a kind of moral principles that as each and every person who are working as an employee or either employer, we need to follow. It's our duty and it's our responsibility to follow all these ethics dilemmas, and we need to find out the ways how we can overcome these ethical issues. So altogether, today's session is covering all these topics. So under the learning objective, today's learning objective, so at the end of session, you will be able to define what is the ethics means, what is the dilemma separately, and what is the ethical dilemma. Altogether, how we can define the ethical dilemma. And what are the different types of ethical dilemmas we can encounter in our workplace. And what are the major sources and how these ethical dilemmas cause, what are the major causes or the reason for these ethical dilemmas, and how you can address any workplace issues, and how you could analyze once you encounter the ethical dilemmas, how you are going to analyze it and how you are going to identify or find out the proper solution for that. And what are the ethical dilemmas that you could identify in business, healthcare, and even in the social care. And as previously we studied regarding the auditor evaluation process or the policy evaluation process, likewise, here you are going to explain the ethical decision making process and what are the ethical approaches are there, and briefly explain regarding the ethical principle and define the code of ethics. So at the very first beginning, we studied regarding the code of conduct, regarding what is this code of conduct means and why it is important, to whom we can apply. And in the future slides also, that means in the future, in the next class, we will elaborately studying regarding the code of conduct again. But here in today's session, we are going to study regarding the code of ethics, and we are going to compare the difference between code of ethics and code of conduct and identify the roles and responsibilities of code of conduct when we are talking about this ethical dilemma. So these are the learning objectives of our today's session. So we'll go one by one. First, we'll see definition of ethics. So what is this ethics mean? So simply when we are talking or when we are thinking about the ethics, it is like a moral principle. So just whether we are saying whether the action or the activity undertaken by a specific person or the individual is morally good or bad, or either morally right or wrong. For example, we are telling that this person is a very honest person. So honest person means we are expressing the moral character of that person or the attitude or the behavior of that person. Or sometimes we are telling that stealing is not a good work, or we can't steal. Stealing is not good. So that means it is not morally good. So the word moral is mainly defining the ethics. So ethics means any activities that are undertaken by any individual whether we are deciding whether it is morally right or wrong, or whether it is morally good or bad. It is a simple definition of ethics. So when we talk about any institution, we are responsible for follow this ethics. Each and every institution having a separate ethical ideas as well, or the ethical identical ethic activities are there. So when we are talking about the definition, yes, it is a code of conduct or behavior governing an individual or a group. So we already studied regarding the code of conduct. So code of conduct also, it is a kind of guidelines, values or principle that every individual needs to follow when especially they are providing any care or any services to the people. So these care services not only confined to the health and social care, other workplaces as well. So if think about the normal, the people, we are telling the customers. So when we are talking about the a wholesale shop, then there are employees, there employers are also there, and the people who are coming to buy things, they are the customers. Like in the healthcare sectors, patients, here we are in the other common places, we are referring those people as the customers. So the code of conduct, it should be applicable to all kind of workplaces, not only the health and social care. But most predominantly, we are focusing this code of conduct for the health and social care. Why? Because it is having a separate legislative frameworks as well. So these ethics are a kind of code of conduct, or it's a kind of behavior or the attitude which are used to govern, or which are used to rule a person or a group of members in a particular workplace. Or we can say it is a kind of complicated ideas, thoughts, beliefs, guidelines, standards, which are characterizes or infuse. Infuse means which are prominizing a particular group or community or the people. So this is regarding the ethics. Then we'll see dilemma. So what is this dilemma means? So each and every individual at any point of our lifetime, we will encounter dilemmas, commonly in our workplace or in our normal routine. Day-to-day activities, we have the dilemma. So what is commonly which choice to be made between two or more alternatives, especially one that are equally undesirable. So there are two parts. So we sometimes in our lifetime we will be at a critical situation. We need to choice, or we need to make a decisions among the two choice, but that two choices are not equally desirable. One is desirable and other one is undesirable. That it is not good. So for example, so here I have put example like, so three group of friends are planning to go for the movie. So one friend having only two tickets. So now that particular friend needs to take a decision, a critical decision. So who is going to accompany him? Because two friends are there, three of them are very best friends. So if he takes one friend and leave another friend, then it will be a problem. So how? So if you are think yourself, so you are having two tickets, so you are planning to go out, hang out with your friends. So you are having two tickets only, but three of you are plan to go, but the ticket is only two. So how you are going to take the decision, a critical decision? If you take one friend, then other will feel bad. So if you take another friend, other will feel bad. So if you take one friend with you, then it is a desirable, or it is a very good chance for that particular friend. So if you leave another friend, then he will think bad of you, and he will become sad, and it becomes undesirable for you as well as that friend. So this is dilemma. So each and every, even in our everyday task, we are in such situations to choose which is good for ourselves as well as accompany to us. So So that is, we are calling it as a dilemma. So dilemma could be occurs in any way. Not only we are telling it to the workplace, but it could be normally in our home setup with our friends, families, with our employers, or all the things we can encounter this dilemma. So this is, we are telling it as a dilemma. Then we'll move on to the ethical dilemma. So what is this ethical dilemma? So how now both the ethics and dilemma are coming. So dilemma, it could be undertaken without ethics as well. So you can, so when we are talking about a previous example, so you may think without knowing any ethics, whether it is good or bad or right or wrong, you can take one friend and you can leave other friend without considering his or her emotions. So there are any ethics, only the dilemma. You are now in a critical state to choose a decision. But here in ethical dilemma means both the ethics and the dilemma are incorporate and form a one new combination. It is an ethical dilemma. So in ethical dilemma, it is a problem in the decision-making process between two possible options, neither of which is absolutely acceptable from an ethical perspective. So here also you are in a critical state. So there is a problem. You need to take a decision or you need to make a solution to overcome that particular problem. But the decision or the solution that you are making, it should be ethical. That means it should be moral. Whether your decision. So here we are going to analyze, or we are going to check whether the decision that you are taking in a critical situation, whether it is ethically or morally good or bad, or morally right or wrong. So normally the ethical dilemma, they are extremely complicated challenges that can't be easily done. Why? Because we need to take a decision which should be in a moral way. So sometimes, no, if we are not talking about the ethical dilemma, simple dilemma, we are not talking any other moral values or moral thoughts and ideas. But ethical dilemma means the actions or the decisions that you are taking should be morally good or morally right for all the people who are engaged in a particular problem. So that's why we are telling the ethical dilemmas are very complicated one. Every person may encounter an ethical dilemma in almost every aspect of their life, including personal, social, as well as the professional. Mostly regarding the personal or social, this professionally, whatever the professions, whether you are a healthcare professional or normal employer, whatever the profession, so we are, as professionals, we are encountering these ethical dilemmas in our day-to-day workplace. So these are regarding the ethics dilemma and the ethical dilemma. Are you all clear about the difference between ethics dilemma and ethical dilemma?
Hi, ma'am. Hello.
Sorry. Yes.
Can you hear me, ma'am? Hello.
Yes. Tell
Uh,
me.
Ma'am, uh, what can't, difficult to understand, but we along with two words, between two words in ethical dilemmas. That's dilemma is difficult to understand. But
Dilemma is difficult to understand. Should I
yes,
need to explain it again?
please.
Okay. So yes, so dilemma means it's simply you understand dilemma. You are going to take a decision. Okay. So there is a problem. You are having one problem and you are having two solutions. So simple example, I told you. So you are having two best friends with you. Okay. So you are having any one, you are one of you. You are having two best friends. Two of them are very close to you. Okay. Okay. So you as an offer, you got only two tickets for a movie. Okay. So now any movies. So you took two tickets only. Okay. But you previously you don't know that you are going to take only two tickets. So without knowing that, you inform to your two of your friends that okay, today I'm going to have tickets as an offer. So shall we hang out or shall we go to a movie? So those two people are your best friends. Okay, so they came to watch the movie with you. But unfortunately, at that time only, you also know that you are having only two tickets. So now the problem is you are having two tickets. Yeah, but you are having three members are there. I'm telling along with you, there are two friends. Okay, so the problem is now, who you are going to take with you? Because two of your best friends, if you take one person only with you, then other will feel sorry about you, and other person may get angry, or other person may get feel, and he may think that you are not thinking him as a best friend. Only that another person is the best friend. So those problem. Okay, so there are two. So now you are in a critical situation. Okay,
Yeah.
this is your problem. So now you are going to take a decision. So if you are going to take that decision shouldn't be harm to three of you. So your friendship is important. So this decision that you are going to take won't disturb or interrupt your good friendship. So that is a dilemma. Okay, so now you are in a dilemmatic stage that how you are going to take a decision. So if you think that okay, I can leave that person and take another person without thinking other person's emotions, then we can't tell it as an ethical dilemma, because you are not you are biasing, you are working on one person. Okay, because you are telling that he also my best friend, but without thinking his emotions and all those things, you are going along with the other person, and that person also may feel worry. Why? Because with you are the one who invited for the movie, and you left, and if you leave at the middle point, then he will think so many things. So it will going to disturb, or it will going to collapse your good friendship. But if you take a decision like this, okay, there is only two tickets, so three of you can't go. So let's cancel our plan to watch the movie. We'll hang out to another place. We can go to restaurant and eat, or whatever we can do. So here you are taking a decision. So when we talk about the ethical dilemma, it is okay. It is morally good. Why? Because both of your friends are going to have your friendship is going to it won't collapse. Okay, so you are supporting your two friends, and you are telling that both you are indirectly with your action, you are telling both of your friends are important. That's why you have changed the plan. So that is, we are calling it as a dilemma. That means in a fraction of seconds or fraction of minutes, you are in a confused state, or you are in a
Right. Yeah.
critical state to take a decision for a particular problem. So it could be normally happens in any workplace also. Sometimes your employer may gives an offer. So you can get a promotion that you need to leave your hometown and you need to work in abroad. Okay, but sometimes your family members are not, you are not like to leave them. So your family members are not like to leave you. At the same time, you are like to work in abroad because for your developing your skills. So now you are in a difficult state.
Dilemma.
How you are going to take the decision? So that is, we are calling it as a dilemma.
Yeah,
Are
okay.
you clear now?
Understand. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So okay. Any other doubts? Others? Are you all clear, or do I need to explain, or others need any explanation?
Now I log to the
Yes.
lecture. Uh,
Ah,
did I miss something?
okay. So didn't you join from the first slide? So you join now.
Yes, dilemma.
Okay. It's okay. We didn't go so far. Okay, I'll explain again. So first, so today we are mainly focusing on the ethics and the ethical issues that we are going to face in our workplace, any kind of workplace. So simply what this ethic means, it is a moral idea or the moral opinion, moral suggestions, moral. Uh, In Sinhala, we can say it as neetiya. In Tamil, we can say it needi vali, needi. So Tamil people who are hearing, so this ethics means, moral means it is a, so ethics, it's a moral behavior or the moral uh, attitudes. Okay, so each and everyone, whether in our everyday life, not only in a workplace, normally in our day-to-day life, we will encounter any situations that we need to take a decision or we need to act in a moral way, whether the action that are undertaken by a particular individual is morally good or morally bad or morally it is right or morally it is wrong. It's common. Okay, so normally we are telling that stealing is not good. From the childhood onwards, we are teaching for the children that stealing objects from other person is not good. Why we are telling it as it is morally not good? We are not explaining in depth. So just we are telling stealing is not good because those actions we are telling they are not morally those things we are not telling they are the moral actions. Okay, so they are morally wrong activities. At the same time, sometimes we may tell that this person is a very honest person or the responsible person, or he is not a selfish person. He will do anything to all the people. So those are the characteristics. So we are telling that so we are identifying or we are identifying that particular person by these characteristics. So these are the moral characteristics. So depending on the person's attitude or the behaviors, we are identifying or we are telling he is a honest person or he is a very responsible person in his work. He is doing all the works in a responsible manner. Sometimes some employers may tell that whatever the work I assign to that particular person, he will do it in a nice manner. I can assure you, I have a trust on him. So those sentences, so those phrases are referring to the a kind of moral actions undertaken by that particular person. So it is ethics. We are calling simply the moral actions right or wrong is an ethics. So here you see the word code of conduct. So you already know we studied regarding this code of conduct, but it is confined to the health and social care. But normally this code of conduct we can apply to any kind of institutions. Why? The code of conduct means it is also giving or it is also involving or addressing the person or an individual's behavior, attitude, values. So those attitude and values, how that person providing a care or providing a services to other. So care means it will comes to the health and social care, but services means any other organizations. When we are talking about the wholesale, I already told you as an example, a wholesale shop. So the people who are coming to buy the things, they are the customers. So how employees or the employer of that particular market receiving the customers and how they are dealing with them, the activities, the behaviors of them, we are telling as a code of conduct. So the ethics means it is a part of code of conduct. So through the code of conduct or the behavior, so that governing or that ruling a particular individual or a group, or it could be a complex or the complicated ideas or the beliefs or standards which characterizes or which characterize or which address a particular group, community or the people. So this is ethics. So that means we are simply telling. So sometimes we may tell, so this boy's father is a stealer or the robber. So we are addressing or we are introducing that particular boy by using his father's immoral activity because he is a robber or he is a stealer. That's why we are telling. So this is, we are calling it as an ethics. Another one is dilemma. So as I explained now, dilemma is simply we can explain as it is a situation. In not normal situation, it is a critical situation. As a person, you are in a critical situation to make a decision for a particular problem. But the solution that you are taken, it could be the, because normally you are having two solutions with you, or you have alternative solutions, but all the solutions are not desirable to you or the people accompany you. It may be undesirable to other people as well. As I explained to you, so here also, so you are having two best friends and you are going to hang out with them today. So you are the one invited for them to for the movie, okay? But both of the friends are very good and they are equally they are equal to you, okay? There is no any uh, superior or inferior. Both are very, very best friend to you. Three of you are sharing all your informations and it's a kind of good friendship. But so you are planning to take two of them with you because you thought that you will receive as a three tickets as an offer. But unfortunately, once they come only, you realize that there are only two tickets. So the problem is your two friends are there. You are having only two tickets. Now you are in a critical situation. The thing is, if you take only one friend with you to the movie, then other friend will feel bad. Then there could be some collapsing in your good friendship. Okay. So, but you can do like this way. So you can drop the plan watching the cinema. You can have any other alternative plan with both of your friends. You can go to any other shop, restaurants, or you can have a good lunch or dinner, whatever. Okay. So those two plans are there. So now you are in a critical state to take a decision. Okay. So if you are thinking to support your two friends and if you need to maintain your good friendship, then what will you do? Okay, we'll drop this plan as we are having only two tickets. We can go or we can have another plan. Then the both of them will feel good about you and your friendship also good. So it is, we are calling it as a dilemma. So most of our in our everyday life, not only in our workplace, in each and every situation with our family members, parents, friends, neighbors, employers, within the employees, we are in some critical situation to take a decision. So that is, we are calling it as a dilemma. So dilemma, it could be a moral way or the immoral way. So sometimes you may think that taking only one friend with you to the cinema by leaving the other friend is, you may think, okay, because you are going to, so you are urged to see the movie today. So that's why you are taking one friend and you are not thinking about your good friendship for these so many years. You are leaving another person and leaving the emotions of that person without considering that you are taking. So it is actually not a moral dilemma because the decisions that you make is not desirable. You are making an undesirable way for the other person. Okay. But so the dilemma, it could be you can take morally or immorally. It's depending, but you are in a critical state. But ethical dilemma means here we are going to incorporate both the ethics and the dilemmas. That means you are having a problem. You are going to make a critical decisions, but the decisions that you are going to make, it should be morally desirable one. So you can't take any immoral decisions. It should be morally desirable one. So talking about the ethics separately and talking about or taking the decision separately, it's not the complicated one. But once you incorporate both into one pan or one place, so you are going, it's a very, very complicated because you are going to take a decision. The decision is a very critical one and it should be a ethical. So you need to think in a very, very broad minded. So if you are narrow minded people, you can't take or you can't overcome the ethical issues in a proper manner. So it should be very, very broad minded. So that's why we are telling the ethical dilemmas or the challenges in when we are talking or when we are thinking about in an ethical way, it is very, very complicated. And as I already told you that each and every person in our lifetime, we have encountered so many ethical issues and so many ethical dilemmas in every aspect of our life and every aspect of our professionals. It can be a work, healthcare, or as a common person or the professionals. And these professional ethical dilemmas or as a professionally when you are going to take a decision is the very, very complicated one. Because if it is a person, okay, only a personal ethical dilemmas, you and the three of you, the people that you are surrounded only will get some undesirable manner. And social also, very small group. But when we are talking about the professional, it is very, very broad. So the decisions that you are going to make at once in a critical situation is not only going to affect you, it will going to affect all the people and it's a kind of chain. For example, I am talking about the healthcare sector. So as a doctor, so you are going to take a treatment option. So you are in a critical state to make a treatment options for a patient. So the decision that a particular doctor is going to take will not only affect that patient. It will affect the patient, the family, the country. It's like a chain. And also when we are talking about the healthcare professional side, it will going to affect the particular doctor's reputation and the hospital reputation. So there are so many members are going to, it's like a chain. So that's why this ethical dilemmas, especially in a professionalism, it's very, very, very complicated one. So these are the three things that we discussed so far. So are you clear up to now?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So now we'll move to the next part. What are the common ethical dilemmas? There are different ethical dilemmas are there. Because when we talk about person, community, workplace, so each and every sector is having a different components in it. So depending on the components, the problem arise and the solutions that we are making also different. But there are some common ethical dilemmas we can identify in any sector, any kind of sector. It could be a public sector, private sector, community wise, healthcare wise, so whatever, or in person wise, in the family time. So there are common ethical dilemmas. So one of it is conflict of interest. So what is this conflict of interest means? So a situation in which a person has a private or a personal interest sufficient to appear to influence the objective exercise of his or her official duties. So simply, conflict of interest means it's just a compromisation. For example, so in sometimes in some companies, we are telling as a recommendation. So this person come with a recommendation of his father or the mother. Yeah, it's common. So it's common in the health and social care sector as well. So as an employer, so if normally we have encountered this word recommendation in most of the time. So if we have a recommendation, we can enter, or if I had that recommendation, now I'll be the manager of this company. Or if I had the recommendation. So recommendation, it is a conflict of interest. That means, so the particular employer doesn't think about the qualification of the person. So he is only promisingly think about the recommendation. So if the person is got recommendation from higher authority, or if the recommendation from the close relative of the employer, then he is going to give the job without assessing the qualification, the skills of the person. So with that, so due to this activity, the unqualified person is going to be a member of that particular company. At the same time, the qualified, skillful person is going to lose the job. So it is, we are telling it as a conflict of interest. So we are having, so it is one kind of conflict of interest. Another one is, so the person who is working here posting on social media about your workplace weakness. So if you have any personal problems with the employer of the company, then as a employee, you are going to start to post the weakness. So think about the situation. The person out of the company posting anything wrong about the particular company won't make any impact on the community. But employee of the company, if he or she starts to post any bad things about his own company, then it's going to have a great impact among the people. Why? So the people may think, okay, he also one of the employee. So the things that are telling by, or the things that are posted by this person could be a true. It is common, it's nature. We also will think about that. Okay, because he is working as one of the employee. But we are not going to analyze that whether the things, so whether he is having any personal problem with the employer, whether all the information provided by him is true or not. We are just overseeing all the things. So it is a conflict of interest. So a person going to make any judgment, or if the person going to make any interest or the suggestions or the decision. So here now a particular person making a critical decision which is going to favorable for himself and the people who are going to accompany him. So here there is no any moral or there is no any immoral. So here the posting social media information, it is actually the immoral one. It is not the moral one. Okay, on the other hand, if he found out any bad activity, so if the company is actually the wrong one, okay, then we can talk about the posting activities could be a moral one. So if the evidence or the justification is the proper one, accurate one, we can take that ethical dilemma or that ethical decision is the moral one. But not always. So we need to analyze that one. Not always. We can't just simply say, okay, this is the actual one or this is the immoral one. So same. So when you are talking about the ethical dilemmas or the ethical decisions, we need to analyze very, very deeply. Then sometimes the viewpoint myself, my viewpoint could be wrong. But when we are talking about that particular affected person viewpoint, so from his or her point, it is ethically moral. But from my point, ethically immoral. So you need to analyze that one. We can't come into the decisions. That means I'm telling for the third person, not only the in person. For the third person conclusion from that particular decisions, he or she needs to analyze both the parties, both side justification, why he did in that way. So why he or she did that way. So it is a conflict of interest. Next one is plagiarism. Yes, it is common. So you already know what is this plagiarism means. The plagiarism, it is kind of stealing. Plagiarism is kind of stealing. So we are not stealing any objects or money. So but we are stealing another person's works. So another person's efforts. So think, so one person he spent, any scientist or any authors of any articles, they spent lot of money, lot of energy, their ideas, and they have made a research article. But you are not to putting any effort or any energy. You are simply Google it and download the activity and you are presenting it as your own article. So it is immorally, it is not a moral activity. It is immoral activity. And moreover, more than immoral, it's a kind of stealing. So you are stealing another person's energy, another person time, another person money indirectly. You are not directly, but however you are stealing. So that is, we are calling it as a plagiarism. So presenting someone's work or ideas as your own without their consent. Yes. So you are not taking the consent or the approve of them by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. This includes borrowing or downloading from the internet without the permission with the stories. But sometimes you can think the words or the phrases or the activities or the research activities that are undertaken by the particular author is good. It could be impressed you. So you may think to incorporate those items or those articles into your activity, into your own activity. So in that manner only we are having. So to remove or to avoid this plagiarism, we are having a component or part called quoting or the paraphrasing. So at the end of today's session, I will explain regarding this because you need to follow these things when you are doing your assignment. So that's why I am telling. So plagiarism. So it's common. We can more informations we can get from the Wikipedia, other articles and other books or the journals or the research papers. So we can get, but to avoid the plagiarism, we can have the paraphrasing or the quoting. So we'll see what is this paraphrasing and the quoting means. And here, quoting a source without including a citation. So if you quote the source with the citation, then we can't tell it as a plagiarism because with the citation, so citations means you are incorporating the article, the author of the particular article, who did this and in which year. So you are providing some kind of credits. So you are incorporating, you are taking those articles and you are incorporating into your articles. At the same time, you are providing some rewards or credits through this citation. Then it won't be considered as a plagiarism. It is a moral thing. It's a good thing. But without a citation, you are without any quoting. If you just take from the article and if you copy paste, just copy paste it, then it is not the moral activity. It is a stealing, immoral, plagiarism. Okay. So the second common ethical dilemma is a plagiarism. Third one is anonymous. Anonymous, normally it is common. So I'm not sure regarding the Sinhala term, but in Tamil, for those who can understand Tamil, anonymous. So we are telling it motta kadidam eludra. So in the anonymous letters, sometimes anonymous letters without mentioning the name or address or any identity of the person, we are sending a particular letter to the institution or the any workplace. So by complaining about the employer, so any person, any employee could be write an anonymous letter, but without mentioning the name. That means we can't identify the identity of that person. Anonymous letter. So I'm not, I don't know the Sinhala term. In Tamil term, we are telling it as a mottai kadidam. So those who know the Sinhala term, you can share with others as well. So that is anonymous. It is also one ethical dilemma. Okay, so normally we can't take actions. The employer or any other the employer couldn't make or couldn't take any actions with that anonymous letter. Sometimes the informations provided in the anonymous letter could be or may be true, but not all the time. So as the same times, like a conflict of interest, anonymous also same. Most of the time, the anonymous letters are written due to any problem with the particular person. That's why they are writing. It's a kind of revenge or it's a kind of creating a problem to that particular person. So an employer or any other person with the anonymous letters information, we can't take any decision. Okay, so we should analyze whether the informations provided in the anonymous letters are true or false. So if they are true, then we can take a proper actions. Or if they are false, we need to monitor. So who is the person? So without telling the directly, so we can monitor in future activities. So we can monitor all the activities of employees who wrote this. So at one point we can catch that person. So that is anonymous. Offending or distasteful content. So distasteful content or the offending. So most commonly the journalist, they can identify these because sometimes when they are interviewing the journalist, they are going to interviewing any person, the language, the words or the phrases or the informations that are provided by a particular individual, it could be an offensive. We can't directly print out or we can't directly put those words or anything directly to the media or to the public people. Sometimes you also may encounter in videos some words they have mute. So once the person starts to pronounce that words, they mute because they are not disclosed publicly. We can't disclose or we can't allow to pronounce or use those information and words publicly. So that is we are calling this as offending or the distasteful content. So in that manner, so there are very inappropriate word informations are there, but we can't publish or we can't put it in the media directly, but the journalist could find another way. So they can use another type of words rather than dosing those inappropriate words, or they can tell the informations without causing any offensive content to the public people. So they can create, they can incorporate the information in a different way. So normally the informations that they are getting on the media, so mostly they have create or mostly they have manipulated informations. So sometimes they may tell exaggerated, that is another kind, but they are not allowed to use any offensive words to publicly. So that is offending or the distasteful content. Then the commitment to accuracy. Yes, the informations, it is a kind of accurate informations. The informations that we are taking to for any future activities, it should be accurate. So as a reporter or any other employees, you can't take inappropriate or the inaccurate information. You are committed. You are need to take the accurate information. So in that situation also, you are going to take some kind of critical decisions. So if you are getting any information, so you can't publish all the informations that you are getting directly. So you are now in a critical situation to analyze. So so you can't publish it directly. So you need to get proper reports and research and you need to investigate it and get the accurate information and publish it. So that is step. So these are the common ethical dilemmas. So these ethical dilemmas we can find out any kind of workplace because these are common. The anonymous letter is common. Conflict of interest, that means the recommendation. You can simply keep in your mind, memorize conflict of interest means simply it is a recommendation purpose. Plagiarism, yes, it is common. Whenever or whatever, even a small children, when they are going to do an assignments, we are Google it, taking a Wikipedia and copy paste. But we are not taking that much as a plagiarism. But if it is a research articles, once we come to a higher grades only, we are knowing that there is a word plagiarism. An anonymous letter, common. It is common. And also the words, the offending words or the distasteful words and the accurate information providing. So all these are could be identified in any health, not only in healthcare works, any kind of workplaces. So are you all clear up to now? Or do you have any doubts or do I need to explain it again? I can. Are you all clear or do I need to explain?
Clear, miss.
Okay. So in addition to these, there are two other uh, ethical dilemmas as well. So invasion of privacy and the bias. So you all know invasion of privacy means so without the consent of another person. So without the another person's consent, the third person is going to intrude. Intrusion means invading or the invasion. So invasion, so getting in. So those are the synonyms for this intrusion. Invasion, getting into the actions, all those things. Okay. So intruding or the getting into the private affairs, especially the private affairs or the personal life of another person. Okay. So invasion of privacy means example, this also will come. Sometimes one person that your best friend or whoever may tell some private informations about her life to you. So if you disclose or if you tell those informations publicly to all the other friends, it is also a kind of invasion of privacy. Not only intruding into their private life, but if you are going to tell any information regarding the private information a person tells to you to the public, it is also a kind of invasion of privacy. And in the healthcare sector especially, we are using a term confidentiality, maintaining confidentiality to any kind of patients. We before taking the informations from the patient, we are telling. So the informations that provided by you are maintained confidential. Or if you are going to do any research activities, we are before providing the consent, in the consent paper we are providing the informations that you are providing will be maintained confidential. How we are going to confidential? So those things, that confidentiality means we are maintaining the privacy. If the confidentiality break out, then we call it as an invasion of privacy. And other thing, portraying someone. Portraying means we are addressing or we are explaining or introducing one person to another person in a negative way. So we are creating a bad impression on about that person on that manner. It is also a kind of invasion of privacy. Then bias. You all know what is bias means. We studied what is bias, what are the types of bias, what are the unconscious bias. So bias means simply we are uh, we are talking for only one person's side. So if the both persons have a problem, then we are seeing only only one side thing. Okay, so we are talking about for only for the one person. If the person is our very close person, then we are going to talk only for that one person without in a neutral manner. So bias means there is no any neutral. So the person who is going to provide the judgment, he or she is not a neutral one. He is only going to provide all the support or all the favorable judgment to only one person. That is bias. So for example, here, so if someone is biased about their religion, yes. So sometimes someone may think that his religion is only the superior one, his culture, his norms only the superior one. So if he have that kind of thoughts, then he starts to think the other religious activities, other religions, other norms, other beliefs are not in a superior manner. They are inferior to them. So if that particular person have that kind of thought, then they start to impose those thoughts into all the people. They start to impose them. They are not telling, they are start to impose that my religion is best. If you come to my religion, we will do anything. Your religion is not good. There is no any religious beliefs like this. So those things they will tell. So it is, we are calling it as a bias. Okay. So invasion of privacy, bias, anonymous, conflict of interest, plagiarism, commitment to accuracy, offensive. These are the common ethical dilemmas we can encounter in workplaces. So here, these are some of the sources of ethical problems. Why? Why we are having these ethical problems in our workplace? Sometimes laws. So the laws could be some problems, the laws that we are, because when we are talking about the institutional wise, each and every institution may have different laws or the legislative frameworks which are confined to only to their institution. According to their feasibility, sometimes they may formulate some policies and procedures depending on the institution. So if it's so, this according to the law, we have some ethical problems. Then economical system, yes. So if we have any economical problems, if the economical crisis occurs at any point, not only the ethical problems, the whole community needs to face all kind of problems. So if the health issues occurs, okay, we can manage the health issues. So when we talk about our Sri Lankan situation now, so 2 years before we encountered a pandemic called COVID-19. But however, we managed to some extent. We didn't manage it fully, but we managed to some extent and we regained our normal day-to-day activities after 2 years. But this economical crisis, it is still, so although we are telling that we are having gaining petrol or we are having gas, whatever, but still the impact of this economical problem prevailing in Sri Lanka, it is not resolved. And we can't say within 1 year, 2 years, our past Sri Lanka will regain. No, it's not. Why? Because the economy is the basis for any country, any nations. For the development of any nations, the economical stability. So the economy should be very stabilized. So if the economy becomes dropped, then the country also starts to flop down. So for if the economical problem arise, all the problems, including the ethical problems, will come. And the new technology, yes. So if the new due to the invasion of the new technologies, our traditional method, we starts to forget or we starts to unfollow our traditional methods. Although the new technologies are easing our works and we can manage our time and we can do our work easily, but on the other hand, it is causing other most bad impacts as well in our health, our knowledge, and children, the studies of the children. So nowadays, due to the situation, mostly the children are studying through the online Zoom. So when we are rather than the physical lectures or physical lectures, so we can't tell that the Zoom education or the Zoom education is 100% good. Okay, it is feasible for any person. We can do it feasible. There is a time management and we can not the energy saving also there, this new technology, but we can't tell that whether all the people are watching the class, whether all can understand. But if it is a physical class, we can focus on each and every student separately. We can know with the face, with their expression, whether they can identify it or not. So the students also, we are having a great student-teacher relationship, and students also become more active to ask questions and all those things. So although the new technologies are providing good, on the other hand, at the same time, they are providing the bad. So if it is causing bad, see, ethical problems also will come. Then, as I already told you, the religion. So the biasing. So due to the biasing activities with the religion, culture, and the social beliefs, the ethical problems will come. So these four are the major sources where we can have the ethical problems in any work setup. Okay. So these are the sources. Sources means, so what are the major reason or why we are having this ethical problems in a workplace? So the first one is failure of the personal character. Yes, as a person, you are failed. If you failed as a person, as a human being, then the ethical problem will come. So failure of a personal character means you are going to lose your original character. So if you, so the same example. So if you leave one friend and take another friend with you to the movie, then as a friend, you failed in that. And as a person, you failed because you didn't consider about the other person feeling. So your character, as your attitude, you failed. As a whole person, you failed. So if you find out or if you fail as a personal character, then the ethical problems will occur. So that means, so in this example, you are going to, your friendship is going to end. Okay, so the ethical problems or the problems will happen. So other than the ethical problem means, so as an employer, so when we talk about the recommendation as an employer, as a good employer, so if you accept the recommendation and provide the work to the unqualified person, and by leaving the qualified person as an employer, you lose your position. So you are not a good employer. So there is a ethical problem. So this is one of the major reason. So why we are having the ethical problems. Then the conflict between the personal values and organizational goals. That means so each and every organization, it may have some goals. So each and every organization, they are running to fulfill the goals. But person also having some values. So for example, if we talk about the women, so if the breastfeed women, so each and every organization, we need to provide 2 or 3 hours for the nursing mothers. That means for the feeding mothers. And we also at the same time, we need to follow some suggestions that they are providing. Sometimes soon after the delivery, after the maternity period also, they are not that much strength to work. So in that manner, we can consider the people's situation. Or sometimes they may have a single parent, single mother, so raising a disabled children, then she may think or she needs to go because she is the only one going to look after her child. So in those manner, we need to see the background of the person or the employee, and we need to facilitate their works. So we can provide, or we can ask them to come early and finish and go the work after. So those kind of allocations we can, or facilities we can do as an employer. So those are the personal values. Although we are having a organizational goals, but sometimes some employers, they are not thinking those activities or those sufferings of the employees. So their thought is only to achieve the organizational goals, only to achieve the goal, the target, only the target. And they start to impose and increase the working hours, not providing a good rest, giving stress more and more, and not considering about their family situations and all those things. So in that situation, the conflict, so the conflict occurs between the employees' values and the organizational goals. And the organizational goals versus social values. Okay, so how the society, so how this organization, the goals providing good, whether they are providing any good benefits or whether it is non-beneficent to the society. Then personal beliefs and organizational practices. So all these are same. So once if you fail as a person, then the ethical problem arise. So when we talk about the employer, so if we think about only the organizational, the only the goal or the outcome of his company without thinking about the employees hardest work or everything, then as a person, as an employer, he failed. So if he failed and if he starts to continue like this, then at one point, or not all the time, they can't bear. So at one point, the employees start to raise their voice. Then the conflicts will start. So then only we are calling it as a ethical problem. So once the ethical problem occurs, then that particular employer will be in a very, very complicated stage to take a decision, because he needs or he must takes the decision which will be favorable for the employees. But at that time also, if he take the decision unfavorably, then he will be in a very, very complicated state. So these are the major reasons why these ethical problems arising in a workplaces. Okay, so are you all clear up to now? Or do you have any doubts? Shall we move on? Do you need to ask any questions? Hello?
All clear, Miss.
All clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your response. Now we'll see some ethical dilemmas, the common ethical dilemmas or the ethically critical decisions that we can encounter in a business or in a healthcare and a social care. So when we talk about the business, the common, other than the health and social care at the workplace, so like information and the emotional deception in negotiation. So we are neglecting or neglecting in a emotional or the informations that are provided by a particular staff. Gender differences, yes. So if we shows gender differences between women, men, and even between the, so we are telling that they are transgender. So those three categories. And information technology. So the new technological developments, data mining, and managerial and the technical work, managers' moral reasoning. So these are some of the ethical dilemmas we can encounter in business. And when we talk about the healthcare, yes, so healthcare means uh, deciding the right treatment in different situations. Even it could be a physician's decision or the nurse's decision. So how we are going to provide the treatment and using all the possible means to keep the patient alive. Yes, it is another important one. So as a healthcare professionals, our major duty is to keep the patient survive. So whatever we are doing to keep the patient alive. So using a possible all the ways and all the means to keep the patient alive. And then the difference the between the sanctity of the life versus quality of life. So how we are going to provide the quality life and how we are going to provide the normal the pleasurable life to the patient. And when the informed consent, yes, so when we are taking the informed consent, so informed consent taking is another big one because the patient will ask lot of questions and sometimes we need to take some private informations from the patient as well. At this time only we will have this confidentiality. So the informed consent. And the most important one is breaking bad news. Yes. So when we are going to break any bad news, if the patient died, so how you are going to tell the informations to the family members. If the patient have any dangerous diseases like cancer and HIV positive, so those things. So that means they are having very, very low survival rate. So these are some of the instances where in healthcare, we are going to take some ethically critical decisions. And in social workers, yes. So social workers means when we are talking about the home care, the caregivers. So it's common, the conflict may arise between the patient and the caregivers and the family members. Sometimes patient may not like the caregiver or the care providing by the caregiver or the family members are not likely to have that caregiver. So, or the care, so they because in the hospital setup means okay, so the doctors, all the people are available, but caregivers means they are the one going to do all the works. They are normally in the Europe countries, they are not telling as a caregiver, they are addressing the caregivers as a family doctors, family physicians, because they have the rights to do and they have the rights to take the decision of the patient's treatment options. So in that situation, sometimes if the people are not aware about the responsibilities and the roles of the caregivers, they may start to conflict with them. So conflict may arise between the patients, families, and even the agency staff and the government. So caregivers means they are working under one agency or one government institution. So the conflicts may arise between the caregivers and the agency if they are not providing proper financial, if they are not accepting or giving proper finances, or that means money, and or the wages, or if they are not providing any good care, sometimes they may ask that all the accommodation and all the things will be given, but once they entered into the particular job, they are not going to give all those things, and they may deduct the wages for that. So those problems will occur, especially for the caregivers. So these are some of the ethical dilemmas that we can encounter when we are working as a social workers. Now we'll move on to how we can address the workplace issues. So how you can identify it. Okay, there is a issue or there is a problem in this workplace. So here you can go through this one. It's a simple flow chart. So first you identify the problem. So what is the problem is going on? So what is the problem in the workplace is having? And does it involve ethics? Then you need to check whether it is an ethical problem or not. So whether we are going to handle it with in a moral way or not, or we can resolve it. So if is does it involve? So if it is ethical problem, if it is no, then seek an appropriate solution. So ethical, if it is not an ethical interest, mean if there is no any ethical issues, then we can take whatever the solutions, because it won't cause any undesirable impact to all the people. So if there is no any ethical, or if the person another person is going to raise any ethical concerns, you can take whatever the appropriate solution. Issues of right and wrong, duty and obligations. Okay, so it is. So the if it involves the ethics, so ethical issues means these are the ethical issues. So regarding the issues of rights of the employee and what are the duties and responsibility of the particular employee. So those things we are calling it as ethical issues. Okay, the problem you identified having any ethical issues, it is a legal responsibilities. So legal responsibilities, yes, if it is a legal responsibility, that means so the rights of the employee or the rights that are followed by the institution in that manner. So we are having some policies and procedures, or we are having a law. So you can identify that particular legislative framework, and you can according to that. So you can follow whether you identify if the ethical issues having any legal responsibilities. But if it is no any legal responsibility, that means the proposed problem or the identified problem, although it is an ethical one, but we can't solve that according to the legislation. There is no any legislative framework to show it as evidence. Okay, so in that manner, if there is no any, then you are going to check whether there is any ethical responsibility. So here we are telling it as NACE code. That means example like code of conduct. So each and every institution we are having each and every codes. So this is one of the institutional code. So whether your institution also having that codes, a code of conduct are available. Okay. So if the ethical responsibility, okay. So if it is an ethical responsibility is present, then do what is right. Okay. So if you are going to do it as ethical responsibility, then take your critical decision should be according to the right, moral right. But if there is no any ethical responsibility, then we are going to the ethical dilemma. So far we identified the ethical issue. Then uh, we are going to analyze. So we are going to take it as a ethical dilemma. So ethical dilemma, we already know. So now you are in a very confused or the conflict state. So how you are going to take a good decision or the bad decision of the problem. So it is addressing a workplace issue. So first we are identifying. So first we are identifying what is the problem or what is the issue in the workplace. Then we are checking whether it is a ethical, whether any ethics or the moral principle or the moral activities are involved. Like if the problem is related to the right issues or the duty issues or any other issues related to the rights. Okay. So if it is no any issues in that manner, then we can identify any solutions without considering the ethical activity. But if the issues are related to the rights of the employee or the regarding the duty of the employee in that manner, involving the ethics, then we need to check whether there is any involvement of or whether we are having any legal framework to sort out these problems. Or we can put forward this legal framework as evidence to sort out that problem. So if it is yes, okay, obviously you must follow the particular framework because we are having an evidence. But if there is no any legal framework, then we are going to check could we able to find out any ethical responsibility. Ethical responsibility means the code of conduct that each and every institution, they are having a separate code of conduct. So we can follow that manner. So if it is yes, so yeah, okay, it is an ethical responsibility is there, then do. According to that code of conduct, you need to do what is right, not the wrong, because the code of conduct is also telling the right. So do according to the code of conduct. But if there is no any ethical responsibilities, that means the particular institution is having no any code of conduct, then we are going to address or we are going to identify the problem in an ethical dilemma way. So ethical dilemma way means, so far you can't identify any solutions. Now you are in a critical state of getting the solutions, that ethical dilemma you are going to take. So it is a conflict. So you are having several options and you are in a state of taking which option is good and which option is morally right and morally good. Not simply good or right, which is morally good or right to you and the people who are accompanying you. And at the same time, according to that problem. So with the problem, so if the problem, the person who raised the problem, what he raised and what are the solution you're going to take to not only in a biased manner, but in a neutral. So you are going to in a neutral manner to take the problem, the solution in a morally right way. So this is how we are going to address any issues in a workplace. Next, we'll move on to how we can analyze. Okay, how we can analyze the ethical dilemmas. Okay, so first you need to identify and clearly describe the fact. So one person put, you are in a critical situation. The problem is in front of you. You are having a solutions as well. You are going to now, you are the one going to take a moral right or the moral good solution. So you can't simply take by seeing only one person criteria or the one information. You can't tell it is ethically good or the so you need to analyze. So that's why I already told you the ethical, the idea or the solution that I take. So in my opinion, it could be ethically good, but if another third person sees that, it could be ethically wrong. So first we need to analyze regarding the ethical dilemmas. So for that, first you need to identify the problem or the solutions and you need to clearly describe the facts. So what are the informations or what are the facts available? Second, you need to define the conflict or the dilemma, the problem or the conflict and identify the higher order values involved. So next, you need to define what is the problem or what is the dilemma that is present. And you need to identify whether there is any values are incorporated into it. Then identify the stakeholder. Stakeholder means, so it could be either the employee or the employer. So who are the people? So to whom you are going to take the decision? Who are the people involved? Who raise the concern and who is going to get beneficiaries or beneficiaries? So who are the stakeholders? Identify the options that you can reasonably take. Then you are going to identify the options or the solutions for the particular problem. The address issues. So what are the possible, not only one, what are the possible, whether it is good or bad, what are the possible solutions you can take, you are going to take or collect all the activities. Identify the potential consequences of the options. So once you get all the solutions, then for each and every solutions, you are going to check. So first solution, whether it is, what are the consequences, so what are the outcome of this? If I tell this solution, so how it will have an impact on the particular issues, whether it is morally good or bad. So whether it is provide moral good to one person, or if the other group may have any immoral activity. So likewise, you need to follow each and, or you need to describe and analyze each and every solutions about the consequences. So once you identify the consequences, and if the consequence, if which is all the people are getting morally good or morally right consequence, then you can provide or you can propose that particular solution for the ethical dilemma. So these are the steps regarding the analyzing the ethical dilemma. So once you address the issues, then we are going for the dilemmas. And before proposing any solutions, these steps you need to follow. Then only you can find out a proper moral right thing. Okay. Okay. Next. This is the ethical decision making models. So like policy decision making model, or the policy evaluation model, auditor evaluation model. Likewise, we are having an ethical decision making model. How we can make a decision in an ethical manner, in a good moral manner. So there are different steps are there. So I have put several steps, so you can go through all the things. So how you can, so it is similar to analyzing the ethical dilemma. So analyzing the ethical dilemma means we are going to take a decision in an ethical manner. So both are more or less same. Okay, so ethical decision means first, here you can see first get the facts. So as in the ethical dilemma, so you need to get the fact. Then you need to recognize in yourself. So you need to take the options and you need to analyze within yourself the facts that you have taken, whether they are right or wrong, or what are the consequences, or what are the outcomes they will provide or not. Then with that you can make a decisions regarding each and every solutions, and then you can, after the decisions which is right and which you are thinking morally right, then you can put it into the action. So it is one manner. Here you can see, identify the ethical problem, then define the stakeholders' perspectives. So how the stakeholders, what about their perspectives? So who are the stakeholders they are there, and what are the ethical theories and the ethical standards they are having, and reflect on personal values, and then apply the guidelines or the legislations if they are available, and analyze the alternative actions if they are available, decide, monitor, and modify. So this is one ethical decision making process you can follow. And this is another one. So first one is assessment. Assessment means the facts that you are getting about the ethical dilemma. Then alternatives. Alternatives about the choices. So what are the choices that you are having within yourself? Then you are going to analyze. So before, it's a kind of decision making. So you are taking a decisions. Then applications. So you are applying. So you are taking your own decisions and you are applying ethical principles to your decision. So the ethical principles are there, and you are analyzing and you are applying the ethical principles to your decisions to see whether they are morally right or wrong. Then you are make a decision and propose those decision as a solution. So this is another. So all these different major, first you need to take the informations and you need to develop your own solutions or your ideas, and you need to make a decision. So which one is good, by analyzing completely. So first you need to So you can put ethical approaches by you various things you can apply to your decisions and you can analyze whether it is good or bad. And you can, so after analyzing, you will come to one conclusion. So that is your decision at the end decision. Then if you're firm enough to your decision making, then you can put it into the action. You can put your solutions to have, or you can to stop that ethical. So this is regarding the ethical decision making model. You need to clarify anything?
No, miss.
Now we'll move the ethical approaches. So there are some regarding this
Clear,
ethics.
madam.
So mainly there are 5 ethical approaches. First one is the
Madam, no clear.
utilitarian approach, rights approach, then or we can call it as a more rights approach, some common good approach. So we'll see
You
one
are
by
not
one.
clear.
So we'll see what
hear
is
you
this.
clearly.
We are, you can't hear me clearly.
Yeah.
Now are you okay?
Yes,
So
voice is breaking.
utilitarian app. Now is it okay or still there is problem?
Previous
Now, okay.
explanation we couldn't hear.
Sorry.
Previous slide.
Previous slides we couldn't hear.
This one you are telling, or regarding the analysis, this one. Which slide you are not clear?
That
Ethical
means we
decision.
couldn't
This
hear.
one.
Yeah,
This.
ethical decision. Yeah, ethical decision making.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. I'll explain you again.
Thank you.
Ethical decision making model. So ethical decision making model, it's also similar. Are you all clear here? Analyzing ethical dilemmas?
Yes.
Okay. Ethical decision making model, it is also similar regarding the analyzing ethical dilemmas. That means if we find out any ethical dilemma, it is we are in a critical state to make a decision. So decision making in an ethical way and analyzing the ethical dilemma, both are more or less similar. So here I have put so many pictures. So you can go through each and everyone saying how you can make an ethical decision, a flow chart or a ethical decision making process. In other words, we can call it as a ethical decision making process. Here you can identify. So before any ethical decision making process, first you need to have a facts or the information regarding the problem. What is the problem or what is the issue they have raised and how you are going to make a decision. So you need to take all the possible facts. You need to collect all the possible facts regarding the dilemmas, ethical dilemmas and the problems you encounter. So once you get all the facts, then you are going to create different solutions or different options to overcome those ethical problems within yourself. So first you are going to think. So how can I solve this problem? What are the possible solutions are available? So you need to recognize it and you need to make a framework for the each and every solution methods. Then, so there are in future slides, we will study what are the ethical principles are there, what are the ethical approaches are there. So to all the solutions that you have developed, you need to put and you need to apply and see how with the ethical approaches and ethical principles, whether the solutions that I have made are incorporating these ethical approaches. That means whether these decisions or the solutions will provide ethically or morally a good outcome or the good consequence for the particular ethical issue. So you are applying. So all these will consider under the recognizing in yourself. So all the analyzing part, then you will make a decision. Okay. So with the application of all those things, now you will have a decision that, okay, the solution number 2 is ethically or morally good. So it won't cause any undesirable effect or unfavorable impact to the incorporated people. So you made a decision. So once you made a decision and once you firm in your decision, then you are going to put it into the action. That means you are going to propose your solution to the particular problem, how you can overcome the ethical issues. So this is regarding the ethical decision making framework or model or the process, whatever we can call. So there are different parts. So sometimes, so the basic concept is this. First, you are gaining the facts or you are collecting all the works. Then you are developing your own thoughts, solutions and ideas. Then with the help of the principles and approaches, you are analyzing it and you are making the best moral solution and you are putting into the work. So these are the basic concepts of the ethical decision making as well as analyzing the ethical dilemmas. So different people have proposed the framework in a different manner. So this is one model and here it is another framework. Here also, so it is some kind of detailed one. So they have included, if there is any legislative frameworks you can use, then you can apply. So in addition to the principles and the approaches, you can incorporate the legislative activities as well. And you can analyze. So with that, you can analyze the alternative actions. And if you find out, if possible, you can monitor it continuously and in future you can modify the particular your decision as well. So it is a kind of elaborated decision making model. And here it is one kind. So assessing, then you are identifying your alternative options, then you are analyzing, then you are applying the principles, approaches, legislative, and you are putting your action into the, you are putting your decision into the action. So it is one. So this is regarding the ethical decision making model. So are you all clear now?
Yes.
We'll move on to these ethical approaches. There are mainly 5 ethical approaches are there. First one is utilitarian approach, rights or the moral rights approach, fairness or justice approach, common good approach, and the virtue approach. We'll see one by one. So first one is a utilitarian approach. Here with this picture, you can see utilitarianism versus non-utilitarianism. So the giving money, so the think about its employee working in a place. So all the workers are paying equal money, but here, so there is a difference. So they have paid equal, one person paying unequally. They are getting more money. So with the utilitarian approach, so the utilitarianism means the action. So we are assessing an action in terms of its consequences or outcomes. So with the utilitarian approach, the ethical activities or the solutions that when we are assessing in an ethical manner, so the people who are involving in that particular approach or the action, they all should be treated equally. So simply the utilitarian approach saying that equal, we need to treat all the people equally. Create the most benefit over harm for the most stakeholders. So this is the goal. So the goal of this utilitarian approach is, so the people, both the employer or the employee, through our approach, through our ethical manner or the ethical consequence or the ethical outcome or the ethical solution, it should provide the people or the stakeholders, it should provide a greatest benefit, not the greatest harm. So over the harm, it needs to provide greatest benefit. At the same time, all the people involving in the particular approach or the solution, they should be treated equally. So the the benefits that they are gaining should be equal. It strives to achieve the greatest good for the greatest number and aims at creating the least amount of harm. So with this utilitarian approach, we are going to create a least harm. So approaches means, so for the proper ethical solution, so we can have some kind of, so with these ethical approaches, we can come to some ethical decisions. So our ethical decisions or the outcomes or the decisions that we are going to make against the ethical issues, it should provide, so with the utilitarian approach, we can provide greatest benefit to large number of people. At the same time, all the people who are receiving that benefit receives equal benefits. There is no any partiality like in this picture. Okay, they are going to receive the benefits equal manner, and there is a very least harm is present. And also preventing the greatest amount of suffering. It holds that each person's interest should be considered equally when making a decision. Yes. So when you are making any decisions, that you need to think each and every person whether they will receive equal amount of benefits with your decision. So once you are making a decision and you are going to incorporate it into the, if you are going to impose it or propose it, so before that you need to check the people who are going to get who are going to impact by your decision, whether those people are going to get benefit more or not, and if they are going to get more benefits, whether they are going to get equal more benefits or not, each and every person. So this is regarding the utilitarian approach, and it was first proposed by Jeremy Bentham. So it is regarding one utilitarian approach. Then we'll move to the rights or the moral rights approach. So what is this rights or the moral rights approach means? Ethical action that best protects and respects the moral right of those affected. Yes. So in the rights and the moral rights approach, with the term you can identify that the ethical actions, the decisions that we are making, it should protect and respect the rights of the people who are get affected. So we are, however, we are going to take a decision against one person who got affected. No, so in that manner, we need to check. So whether the decisions will provide a good and will protect and respect the moral rights of that particular affected person. Each person has a fundamental right to be respected and treated as a free and equal rational person capable of making his or her own decisions. It's like just a human rights. So each and every person having a fundamental rights. So that means, so each and every person having a right to treat equally and respectfully with dignity, and they are also having a right to make their own decision as well. Okay, so then normally the six moral rights are right of free consent. So without free consent means without any compulsion or without any third person intrusion, each and every person have a free to right. If I need this treatment, I can tell yes, I can approve for the consent. If I don't like the treatment, then I can exclude, or I can then I can't, sorry, I can exclude that consent. Then right to privacy, yes. So each and everyone, they are having to keep their privacy. private life. And right of freedom of conscience, right of free speech. Yes, each and everyone in the society having a right to speech freely. But the sad thing is we are not freely speaking. We are not freely speaking, but the right to free speech is basic fundamental right of each and every person, and right to due process and right to life and safety. So these moral rights regarding, in other terms, we can call it as a human rights, basic fundamental rights. Not only these six, there are lot of fundamental rights are there. We were studied in our previous lecture. So this is regarding the rights or the moral rights approach. Then or the justice approach. So all equals treated equally. So the fairness or the justice approach is something telling different to the utilitarian approach. In the utilitarian approach, we are telling that all the people needs to treat equally. Even the fairness or the justice approach also saying the same thing. But one difference is, so if the humans are unequal, then based on some defensible standard, we can treat them unequally. That means, for think about here, for example, so employees, when we talk about a company, all the employees are working. Okay. So the paying for all the employees, normally it could be similar. So all the employees working are getting 50,000. But think about the situation, a hardworking employee and a lazy employee. So yeah, it is not a fair or the justice manner. So if a hardworking, if you find out any hardworking person in a company, actually that particular person needs to pay more when compared to the other lazy people. Why? Because he is putting his all the effort and ideas. So in that manner, the paying could be differ for the hardworking and the lazy person. So we can't tell it as unethical manner. It is an ethical decision according to the fairness or the justice approach. Why? Because although we need to treat equally, okay, it's important or it's mandatory to treat all the people or all the employees equally. But there could be some factors or some characteristics where we need to focus mainly on the specific activities undertaken by each and every person. If that particular person providing more and more effort for the growth of the company, then providing the same wages for all the people is not good. So we need to respect the work of that particular employee, and we need to reward and we need to appreciate his work. Then only he will start to work more and more in future as well. So the providing the different wages in such situation is applicable. So this is a little difference between utilitarian approach and the fairness justice approach. Both are saying all should treat equally. In addition to this, the fairness approach is saying another important thing is, if you find out any unequal, if the humans are unequal in any defensible standards, that means we can't neglect or we can't left that particular principle or the activities of the particular human. If it is so, then we should be act according to the justice. In that manner, we can't talk about the equality. We need to focus on the activities and the standards, but we need to active or we need to follow the justice manner. So here you can identify. So the person who came first. So in a running competition, so the person who came first means he put all his efforts and energy in order to achieve that first place. So according to the utilitarian approach means this is okay, this is correct. So whether he is first, second or third, we are going to give gold medal to everyone. But according to the justice approach and the fairness approach, this is unfair because this person put so many effort than the second and third. So we need to address him or we need to reward more when compared to these two, the second one. So this is good or this is acceptable according to the fairness or the justice approach. Then common good approach. So common good approach means it is regarding interaction with the community. So how we are having. So both so far we have discussed especially within a defined people or with a group of people or group of a particular in person or the group of people. But common good approach. So we are coming outwards. So we are coming to the society, a community. So a relationship or the interaction between the community, how we are having each and every person, how they are having an interaction with the community or not. Respect and compassion for all others, especially the vulnerable, are requirements of such reasoning. So one example is affordable healthcare. Yes, so each and every citizen or each and every person in a society, it's their mandatory rights to have a affordable healthcare. So if it is possible, then it is a common good approach. So if all the people in a particular community having affordable healthcare means it is a good common approach. And the peace among the nation, yes. So each and every country in the world, it should be a peaceful nation. So then only it will be providing good benefits or good beneficials to the citizens of the nation. Then the unpolluted environment. So that means normally the common good approach mainly focusing the benefits or the beneficiary activities undertaken to the community, to the society, both the living and the non-living thing which are encompassed by the community. This common good approach will be we can take. So here, so common good and non-common good. So common good means if you find out any, so this symbol especially mentioning the hazardous, very, very dangerous things. We are, the symbol is this one. Very dangerous, any dangerous chemicals or the equipments. So in the health and social care, we are symbolizing by using this symbol. So if you take any very hazardous chemical or anything, so you need to discard it into the appropriate uh, dustbin. So that means here also it is marking in a hazardous symbol. This also hazardous thing. So why we are need to discard it into the particular bucket or the dustbin, then only we can identify it. Okay. So with the symbol we can tell it is a hazardous thing. Then we can, the people who are going to discard will follow a proper handling manner to proper handling manner. If you discard here, it's an uncommon good. So the hazardous waste is going, they are discarding into the normal community, to the normal environment. Then what will it cause? It will start to cause all the bad impacts to the environment, not only the human beings, animals, plants, other non-living things as well. So this is regarding the common good approach. And the final one is the virtue approach. So especially the virtue approach, it is focusing on the attitudes, characters, which enables us to be tend and to be act in ways that develop our human potential. So especially the virtue approach means simply our attitudes, our characteristics. How the attitudes and the characteristics are defining us as a good human being or the whole or the complete human being or not. Okay. So here you can see in this picture. So there is a elder person is here. So if you are a good person, good human being, so he can't walk. He is having a handle as well, walking aid as well. So if you are a good person, first you need to open the door and allow him to go. Then you can go. So the opening of the door should be like this. So you can hold the door behind. It should be very wide area. But if it is a non-rights here, you see, so you went partial of your body out of the door and you are opening the door in this manner. So what will happen? Sometimes if you leave the hand, then there is a chances of shutdown of the window. So if a person comes in between that, then the person may get harm. So this is a non-virtue approach or the non-virtue action. So with this, so here your attitude is not in a good manner, but here it should be a good manner. So that is regarding the virtue approach. So examples of virtue approach like honesty, courage, truthfulness, integrity, faithfulness. So these are regarding, it's a kind of attitudes. They are explaining or they are addressing who you are. So these are the major 5 approaches we are telling as an ethical approach. So whenever you are going to take any ethical actions for any ethical issues, first you need to use these approaches and see whether the decisions that you made are ethically beneficial to other people. If the decisions that you take will fulfill all these approaches or any, at least any one of the approach, then you can put it into the action. So are you all clear up to now? Do we need any clarification?
No, madam, all are clear. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, these are the ethical principles. So normally we are having 6 ethical principles like autonomy, beneficence, fidelity, justice, non-malfeasance, and veracity. So autonomy means, so respect for an individual's right to make their own decisions. So yes, autonomy is like, so you need to respect the decisions, own decisions made by the other person. If you are going to take any decision as your own, myself, I need to respect your own decisions. Whether it is good to me or not, I need to respect your own decision. At the same time, if I am going to take any decisions, if it is providing any good to you or not, you need to respect. So each and every, as a human beings, we need to respect each and every person's own decisions or the ideas. That is autonomy. Beneficent means the way, so the benefits. So the activities or the actions that we are doing, how it providing benefits to the other person or how beneficent it was. It is beneficent. Fidelity means loyalty and promise to an individual. So how you are being a loyal or how you are providing. So that means a kind of maintaining the privacy. So how you are loyal to a person. If a person tells any private informations about his private life to you, at how extent you are loyal to them, how you are keeping that promise or how you are keeping that secret. It is fidelity. Justice, it is a fair and equal treatment. How you are treating another person equally and fairly. Non-malfeasance means never doing. So never doing any harm. Malfeasance, doing harm. Non-malfeasance means never doing any harm to any other individual. Veracity means it is a kind of honesty. How you are dealing other people with honesty. So these are the major ethical principles. So once you make any ethical decisions or if you are making decisions, you incorporate this principle. Whether the decisions could provide, so whether your decisions are good, or you can ask other person's decision as well, and you need to respect those decisions when you are going to make any solutions. And you need to check whether they can provide benefits to other people or whether are they going to make any harm or non-harm. And so if any other person providing any informations, so through this decision making, are you going to keep the promise or are you going to make the secret of the informations, and how you are loyal to them and how honest you are. So these are the ethical principles that you can, not only in a decision making, but whenever you are act in a moral way, So these are the principles you need to find or you need to follow when you are going to act in a moral way. So here, this is also another parts: autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance, justice, veracity, and fidelity. Okay. Now we'll move to the code of ethics. So we already know what is code of conduct means. Now we'll see what is this code of ethics means. It is also a set of principles and rules which is used by an individual or any institution or organization to rule out the decision-making process as well as to distinguish right from wrong. Yes, so code of conduct. Code of conduct, it is a kind of values and beliefs which is going to support for how we are going to providing the care. Supporting the care services. But the code of ethics, it is going to ruling. It is going to rule the decision making process as well as it is helps to differentiate which is good decision and which is bad decision. When an individual or organization institution is going to use. So it is also a set of rules and the guidelines that we are having. It generally provides an idea about the ethical standard of an organization. So it is a code of ethics. So here the code of ethics are integrity. So integrity means in a workplace, we should maintain a clear communication and maintain honesty between the employees. Teamwork, yes, we need to incorporate and we need to work in a cooperative manner. Objectivity, don't make career decision based on whom you like best. Yes. Recommendation, example recommendations. So you can't make any career decisions with your recommendations or whom you like. It should be very fair in manner. Confidentiality, maintaining the private information and growth. And how? Always pursue your professional growth. So although you are a consultant, although you are a lecturer or the professor, always you need to grow your professionalism. Although you are a lecturer, you are not competent enough to know all the things. So you need to grow your professionalism, that you need to be a lecturer and you need to learn more and more. And you need to learn more from the students as well. And if you are a nurse, once you become a chief nursing officer, you can't stop studying. You can grow your professionalism from there. So these are some of the code of ethics that we are following in our common workplace. Okay, so here you can have a clear understanding by comparing the code of ethics and code of conduct. So as I already told you, a code of ethics are a moral principle and values which are undertaken by an individual or institutions when they are to rule out or when they are going to make any decisions, or at the same time when they are going to make or distinguish between the right and wrong. So when we talk about the code of conduct, it is also a set of rules and regulations that explain appropriate behavior in a specific situation. Yes. So it is code of conduct explaining how a person needs to behave in an appropriate situation. Whether if it is an anxious situation, how they need to behave. If it is a complex situation, how they need to work. So it is code of conduct explaining how, as an individual, how you are going to act and how you are going to behave as an individual in a situation. But code of ethics, how you are going to take a solution through your action, how you are going to take a solution in a moral way. Okay. So code of conduct, it is general. Ethics, it is general in nature, but code of ethics, it is specific. Why? Because we are specifically focusing on a particular action or the situation. So code of ethics explains how we can make a decisions, and it is explaining how an employee or the professional, how they can act in a particular situation. Code of ethics mainly focusing on the values or the moral activities, and they are mainly focusing on the rules and regulations and the compliances. Code of ethics, it is very narrow scope, but the code of conduct, it is a broader scope. And code of ethics, we can publicly disclose. We can tell anything publicly. But code of conduct, not. We can't tell publicly. Why? We are focusing on a specific action. So it could be disclosed only between the employees or between the healthcare professionals. So this is regarding the difference between code of ethics and code of conduct. Now we'll see the roles and responsibilities of code of conduct when we are talking about the health and social care worker. So as I already told you, first, we need to respect and protect the individual rights. And individual rights means we need to treat all the individuals, all the patients and the other co-healthcare professionals fairly and with the dignity, with the respect. Promotes individuals' independence. Yes. So individuals must be supported so they can live best. So whenever we are providing a care to the patient, you can't provide care always to the patient. That means you can't always allow the patient to be dependent on your care. So through our care, so we are going to provide the care to a particular patient to some extent. So with that period, we are also encouraging the patient to become independent without depending on our care. So it is important. So that is we are calling it as promotes individuals' independence. Allow people to make their own informed choices. So yes, so the patients or the patients, they are having rights to make their own informed choices, their perspectives, their suggestions, opinions, ideas. So we need to allow them to make their own, and then we can talk with them. So why we are not accepting their choices, or why rather than their choices, whether there is any other best methods available or not. So we can have a talk with them. With a good communication, we can make them to understand. Then if possible, we can change. But the major thing is we need to accept their ideas, thoughts, and choices, and we need to respect them. If you think that it is not possible, then with the proper communication, with the proper understanding, we can change those things. So these are the major roles and responsibilities of any health and social care workers, which comes under the code of conduct. So through this code of conducts, we can make a good ethical, morally or ethically suitable solutions or the decisions to the another person or a patient. So these are some of the videos I have uploaded. You can go through this, each and every one. Simply, they are saying what is ethical dilemma, what are the parts, that means what are the types, and what is this code of ethics, code of conduct. So you can go through these things. Okay, so this is regarding the today's session. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, I need to touch up something regarding your assignment. If you need to ask any doubts regarding today's session, you can ask, or I can say few words regarding your assignment.
Go ahead, Miss.
Okay, thank you. In the previous class, you asked how you are going to write a report, and between report and essay, what are the things you all need to follow when you are writing a report, report and essay. So here you can identify. So when you are writing, academic writing means mainly we are focusing on the report writing. Okay, essays, we are when we are talking essay also coming under the academic writing, but essays means you are not copying anything from any resources. But when we are talking about report writing, paper, research article writings, so these three major components you need to write. So for your first examination, you all are requested to submit a report for both for the two module assignment. So when you are developing your report writing, so you need to keep in mind these three major parts: summarizing, paraphrasing, and quoting. So we are not telling that you can't use the other people's article or researches. You can use, because you need to have some kind of idea, then only you can develop your articles as well. You can use, but there is a way of using without any illegal manner, without plagiarism. You need to know. So for that, these three components you need to keep in mind when you are writing a report. So first one is summarizing. So here, summarize it. So sum. So with the acronym SUM, you can use shorter than the text, use your own words, main ideas only. And for the paraphrasing, here you can see the symbol, you can't copy. So paraphrasing is to prevent from the copying, we are using this technique, paraphrasing. So para, put the text in your own words, avoid copying the text, rearrange the similar text, ask yourself if you included all the important points or not. Then quoting. So sometimes you may think the phrases or the words that are used by a particular author will be impressive to you. Or you may think that if you included those things into your article, it may be very valuable. So in that manner, we are without any plagiarism or without any illegal method, we are going to use this method as a quoting method. Okay. So first we'll see the summarizing. So it's important. Whenever you are writing anything, so you need to be summarizing. Summarizing means, so you are going to give an overview of it. So when you take a main text, the main text will have so many points, lot of elaborated phrases, elaborated facts. So they can use some metaphors, they may see some, the particular text may say some informations in an exaggerated manner by using different vocabularies, some adjectives, adverbs. So they use in that manner. But once you read, the main content will be small. So when you are summarizing, so first you go through, you read all the original text, one or two or three times. How many times you go through all the major text? Once you read, then you need to point out. You can underline it or you can write it in a separate bullet points. So each and every sentence, what is the main point they are saying? Normally, if you we are telling it as a summarizing or a precis writing. We are telling it as, in other words, precis writing also there. So precis writing or summarizing means if you take one text, so the major content will be available in the, that means the heading. The heading for each and every text will be available in the first phrase or the second phrase, first sentence or the, sorry, not second, last sentence. At the last of the paragraph or the first sentence of the paragraph, you can identify regarding what this paragraph is going to tell. So when you start to read in depth, you can get more and more informations. So what is going? So sometimes in some summarizing, they may ask you to put a small headings as a subheadings. So if you are going to put the subheadings, so for that, if you read the whole text with the first part or the last part, you can get the subheadings for that particular text or the para. Then, so you point it out. You take a separate paper and point it out. What are the main points in a simple sentences or in a simple words? So normally, even in a school days also, we have in our O level, A level, they have given a particular in Tamil and even English also language test. They are giving a separate paragraph, and in an answer sheet we are putting some columns, a table. So each and every table should contain one words. like me. So it is also a kind of summarizing. So if you are going to have a particular word count, 800 or 200, so if you start to write all the things, you can't achieve that. So word count is also important when you are writing a report or essay. So for your easiness, so you just jot down the points. What are the important points says by the particular text. So then you conjugate each and every sentences with the words like is or are or any other words. By using, you can conjugate it, and after conjugating, you can see that the whole, a complete one text. So that is a summary. Normally, the summary is shorter when compared to the original text. Okay, so if you find out your summary is lengthy than the original text, then it is not a summary. It is the actual text. Okay, so the summary is always simple and short than the original text, but the summary should include all the important parts or the main concept expressed by the original text. Here you can see. So here they have quoted and they have written most, but the summary is very, very small. So major 5 key steps when you are writing a summary. First, read the text and break down into a section, small sections. And in that section, identify the key points in the each section. So then all together you can, so join all the key points that you have taken from sections. And after that, you can see there is one para. So that is your summary. And then check again with the articles whether you have incorporate all the major concept of the major text or not. So this is regarding the summary. Paraphrasing here, this is paraphrasing. So in the paraphrasing, a restatement of the meaning of a text or passage using other words. So this is the original quote. You are going to use this phrase, this para, but you are saying the same thing in a different manner. Okay, so you are going to think here, there are opportunities for Australian designers to have a positive effect through the selecting textiles. So there are positive flow on effects. So here they have mentioned the have a positive effects. They here in the paraphrase, positive flow of effect. Environment. So selecting the some words they have. So here with the lower environment and social impact. So they have stated the same statement, but they have rephrased it. So the phrases, the lines, it could be changed, and they have used some different words. Opportunities, they have used incorporate, sustainable materials. So those words. So paraphrasing is one of the important part in the uh, academic writing. So if you are going to include, so these are the two paraphrasing techniques. One, you can change the structure of the sentence. As I already told you, you can change. So if they told positive, good, then flow of positive. Likewise, you can change the structure of the sentence, or you can change the words in the sentence. It is very best. So in my personal opinion, the changing the words in the sentence is very best and the easy method. Why? So you are reading one text and you are finding out one word. So like essential. Then you go through the dictionary or any other vocabulary tools they are available and find out the most complicated vocabulary word, the synonyms. We are telling the same word. So in Tamil, we are telling ottasol, so like that. So same. I'm not sure about the Sinhala term. So same term, synonyms. Okay. So find out the most complicated synonym word and you replace the essential with that most complicated synonym word. Then you can't identify it as a paraphrase. Okay, so you can't tell it as a plagiarism because you have rephrased. The word could be changed. So the exact word is not present as same in the actual text. Okay. So it is one best method and it is very simple by changing the words. At the same times, when you are changing the word, you need to be very cautious what kind of words are present in the actual text. Why? Sometimes the rephrasing word also without your known, you can use the same word by using the dictionary. So first you highlight, when you are writing, highlight the words that you have taken from the original text. Then at the point, immediately find out another word from the dictionary by using dictionary and put it or replace that word. And here also you can change the structure of the sentence as well by reading the original idea. So how you can change the structure? First, you read the original text and understand the main ideas, like summarizing. Read the original text and understand the main ideas, and without looking the original text, you write in your own words about that main idea. So you read and you are having regarding the main idea, no? So without, by using your own words, you describe the own idea. Then you recheck whether the words and the ideas that you are using by your own similar with the original text. If it is not, then you can use it in your article. So it is, we are calling it as changing the structure of the sentence. So this is a paraphrasing techniques. You can use one or two methods when you are writing the report. So if you're paraphrasing, if you need, it should be effective, then it should be very, very original and accurate manner and the objective, and it should be complete. Then only your paraphrasing could be very, very effective. Other one is quotation, that means quoting. So we are putting inside the quotation marks. So in the quotation, here only we are using the citation. So I will, in the next class, I will explain how you are going to cite. So it is easy. So there are one app is available. So you can install it in your PC and you can use. And for if you have that Mendeley app for the citation, inserting the references also very, very easy. You can do the references no need to type each and every instance. So we have instructed you to use the Harvard style. So all the options are available. So with that Mendeley app, you can just with one press, you can include all the references. So for the including references, we are telling it as a bibliography. Okay. So I will explain in detail in the next class. So the quotation, so for the quotation, the citation is important. So you can take actual or the original text from the author's article, and with the quotation mark, you can apply or you can include the original text. But at the end of that sentence or the phrase, if you cite it, then it is not considered as a plagiarism. But if you forget to cite, then only it will consider as a plagiarism. Citing means so that in the bracket. So here it is, we are calling it as a citation. So citation means so you can download so many text, and with the Mendeley app, so you can within the brackets with that Mendeley app, you can incorporate the particular article's author and when it was published. Okay, so that is, we are calling it as a citation, expressing to a reader that the certain words or phrases in your text. So with the citation, so what we are telling to the reader, that means you are telling that this particular word is selected or get from this particular article. Then for the reader also it will be helpful. So with this we can go through, we can search or explore for more and more articles. This is regarding the quotation. So these are the three important things you need to be very cautious. And when should you quote? So why you are need to quote? First one is if the language in the passage is, it is memorable, or if you impressed with the passage language, and for the analysis, if the passage is worthy for the further analysis, and if you considerable detail with someone else's position, and if you need to provide credit. So if you take and if you think that this work should be needs to credit, then you can incorporate, or in these situations you can quote any words, that means any instances. So make sure and keep in mind whenever you are writing, don't forget to cite and paraphrasing and the summarizing. So now we'll just see what are these reports and records means, essays mean. So reports, they are the well-researched, planned and organized documents that are written for a purpose. So reports, we are written for a purpose. So here you can see these are some of the reports. So here there are different reports are there. You can go through that. Here I have put how you are going to write a report effectively. So for the report writing, first you need to identify the problem. So what is you are going to write? What is the problem you are going to write? And you identify the purpose. So why you are going to write this report and who are the people will get benefit or to whom you are going to write, scope, and developing a hypothesis. Hypothesis means you are developing two questions. So with the whether the problem will be providing good or the bad. So there is any good outcome or if there is no any outcome. Or it is not mandatory to develop the hypothesis. You can neglect this as well. And defining the terms. If you are going to use any terms, you need to define them clearly. And you need to identify the audience to whom you are going to address it. To whom. So by reading your article or the report, who are the people will gain any information or gain any benefits. And you need to select a method of solution. So if you are going to propose any solution, what is the method you are going to select? So how you are going to deliver the solution? Then you need to organize that method and you need to analyze that things that you have get, and with the analysis you need to interpret, that means results and the discussion. So with the data you collected, you are going to analyze that data, and the analysis you can get the results, and with the results you can discuss why it happens like this. When you are comparing to the previous articles, whether there is any improvement or not, then you can write the final report. So you collected all those things and you can write the conclusion. What is the conclusion of the report? And if you provide recommendation is okay. So, but sometimes some points could be changed or you can't incorporate all the things into all the reports. There could be some modifications you can plan according to the report that you are writing. Okay. But essays is, it is a short piece of writing outlining the right. So normally essay means we are not analyzing, we are not providing the results or datas, we are just writing the writer. So if you are going to write an essay, you are writing your own thoughts, your own perspective, own story and experience. It is an essay like narrative essay, descriptive essay, expository. Even some essays also we are putting a picture, but those pictures are it's depending on our suggestions, or we can get from any parts or any other articles, and we are just putting as an evidence only. Okay, so with that picture we are not going to analyze it and we are not getting any results or conclusion. So we are getting that picture and we are using that picture and we are citing, that's all. So this is the difference between essay and the report. So here there are 9 steps how you can write a best essay. So once you are writing your essay, you can follow this method. Okay. So here the difference between the essay and the report. So report, it presents the information and it presents an argument. It means to be scanned quickly by the reader. It means to be read carefully. Yes, it carefully, but we can identify the reader. Use numbered headings and subheadings. Uses minimal normally in the essay we are not using any subheadings. If possible, use minimal. May not need references and bibliography or reference list. Always need references and bibliography or the reference list. But for the report, if you incorporate the reference list, it's good. Okay. So here they have mentioned like this, but it is better if you report. But why they are telling sometimes in the reports we are doing our own work, means if you are not getting any other resources, all the things are your own, then no need to write a bibliography. But essay, however, we are going to take pictures or any quotations from others, no, then you need to have a bibliography or the reference list. And yes, it should be short and concise paragraphs. By here, if it's possible, you can dot points, you can list it in a dot points, or you can elaborate it, exaggerate it. You can use graphics, graphs, illustration tables. Normally in the essays, we are not using that much. And in the report, you need to write an abstract as well. Abstract is similar to a summary, okay? We are sometimes we are calling it as a summary. But normally in the essay, we are not writing any abstract, but if they ask only, we are writing an abstract. So here, this is also one differences you can find. So for your assignment, for your first assignment, you can use these PDF. So some PDF and some page links, especially for the legislative act like Equality, Mental Capacity Act, and the Code of Conduct. For those things, for your better understanding, if you like to read, then I have put these links. Okay, so once you click it, you can go to that page or you can download the PDF. And if you want, you can use this as well as a pioneer references I provided you. But other than this, you can find of dot and lot references. So you can use and you can incorporate once you are developing your assignment. So this is what I need to tell regarding the assignment, because most of you have asked last time what is report and what is this estimate. So I hope that you all have some idea regarding reports and the essay, difference between report and essay. So are you clear, or do you need to ask any questions? So if you have any questions, you can ask. I hope that you all have started your work. You have started working on your assignments, but for the reports, sometimes you may encounter regarding the citation problem. So in the next class, I will show how to do the citation. Then it is not that much issue. So you can incorporate your citations, although you have already started your working assignment. It's just 1 or 2 minutes work. So do you have any questions? So shall we wind up the session? If you have any doubts regarding today's lecture and regarding the assignment brief, you can ask.
No, miss.
Okay, so it's okay. If you have any doubts regarding the assignment also, you can contact me personally or you can ask in the next class. So until then, see you in next class. Bye.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Miss. Bye.